Testing 1, 2, 3. All right. How's it going? Uh, so I set my cameras all up to record myself playing this Conan game against myself. Uh, so this game I discovered recently, been sort of unknown, I think, to most people since 2006. But it's actually like a really cool game from what I've seen so far. Uh, and I came up with an idea of how to play against yourself, kind of like without it being too easy. So I'm going to see how that feels, and also just practice my understanding of the rules. So here's the cards. Each player has a Conan. I'll try to explain the rules as I play. Uh, so each player has a Conan. Everybody plays as Conan. At least in this first iteration of the game. And Conan has four attributes: damage, prowess, health, and vitality. He also has a barbarian ability, which he can use like every round of combat. So you see how that works. And he also has some sort of unique text area ability, one or more. So that's Conan the adventurer, and this is Conan the bold. So you can see that their stats are a little bit different. They have some different abilities. There's like some keyword abilities there. Like he has reflexes, and the other Conan has reflexes as well. So they both have the same barbarian skill, but their unique text box abilities are different, obviously. Conan the Bold kind of specializes in using weapons and allies, and Conan the Adventurer specializes in uh, using a two-handed axe, which I think is referred to as a two-handed weapon. Um, and he specializes in doing what's called press on, pressing on. And what that means is you'll see when we play the combat, go through the game. When you press on, you do a phase of combat, you destroy all the foes that are sent to you, and then you say, you know what? I want some more. I want to go back in and keep fighting the foes without doing my rest phase. And basically, in the rest phase, you recover health, you recover prowess, you recover your cards. But if you press on, you skip the rest phase. But it allows you to kill more foes before your next turn, which is part of how you win the game. However, if you die in the process of trying to kill these foes, if your Conan dies in battle, you lose the game. However, if you press on every round before combat, even if you didn't press on the first round before combat, you can survey the battlefield and say, you know what, my Conan's health is too low. I don't have enough cards, whatever, to fight these foes that are arrayed against me. Because you see the foes when you survey the battlefield. You can decide to what do they call it? Retreat, run away, run away. Uh, yeah, you can retreat, and when the price you pay when you retreat is you have to um, basically give up some of the points that you're trying to accumulate to win the game. which is referred to as renown. So if you retreat, you have to give back your opponent some of the foes that you killed from him, which lowers your renown score, but it keeps your Conan safe. So it's a tactical decision you have to make from time to time, because you want to get as much renown as possible per turn, but you don't want your Conan to die. It doesn't really matter how weak your Conan is when you go into the following turn, because when it's the other Conan's turn, you're just drawing foes from your foe deck, selecting them, arraying them against him in a certain pattern. And the only thing that matters at that point is what cards are in your hand. So, and you draw up to 7 every rest step. So, the goal of the game is to get to 40 renown points before your opponent without dying. If you both have over 40 renown points, then whoever has the higher amount of points at the start of their turn wins. Which means if your opponent, if you have 40 points, for example, and your opponent gets, and you're waiting for your next turn to start so you can win, and your opponent gets 42 points, well, now you don't win, and he's going to win at the start of the next turn. So now you've got to try to get not only enough renown points to surpass his score, but also surpass whatever he might get on his next turn. So you could go back and forth a lot with the renown score. And there's other things like Conan can play allies, he can equip weapons. Either side can use actions at any certain point in the game. There's 4 types of cards, 5 if you include Conan, but 4 main cards. There's foes, actions, moves, and like equipment items. Now, playing moves onto foes is a big part of the game. Foes will send attacks at Conan by using moves. So you're kind of combining 2 cards anytime you're attacking your opponent. And you respond to those attacks with moves you play yourself from Conan. And there's symbols on the sides of the cards that you try to align correctly against your opponent's moves. And that determines like whether or not it's a hit, how much damage it does, all kinds of stuff. Here's all the possible symbols. And there's 5 spots, essentially 5 spaces on the left and right side of the card, of every card, in fact, except for foes and Conan. So 3 out of the 4 card types, the 3 out of the 4 main card types, moves, actions, and equipment, can all be played as moves. So really you want to be using move cards as your moves, I think, most of the time, because they don't have like alternate uses that might be more efficient. But you're never like screwed. You'll always have a move to play whenever you're doing combat. Now, you might run into the case where you don't have enough prowess to play the move, or your foe doesn't have enough prowess, but you can pay for prowess with health. So even that's not necessarily blocking you from playing a move. I think it's a really cool design. I'll try to explain it more in depth as I play, and I'll show I'll show the system that I came up with to play against yourself, so it's not super boring. And we'll dive right in. I'll just get some pineapple juice. All right. I'm trying not to look at the rule book too much. See if I can just remember how to play the game. So we'll say that he's tails and he's heads. Ah! Doesn't count. Tails never fails. Conan the adventurer goes first again. I'm going to use these dice to keep track of their prowess. Not really ideal. This one's 10-sided and this one's 12-sided. So we'll do 12 and 8 over here for the prowess. They both have 20. Sometimes that's different. And then he'll have 20. So to start the game, there's a certain number of cards that you need in each deck at least. I think at most you can only have a certain... You divide your cards into 2 decks. Your foe deck and your every other card deck. So this is actions, moves, and items. And like I said, all these cards double as moves. A third of them are pure moves, but the other 2 categories double as moves. That's an important concept to understand. So you divide the decks. You can only have you need to have like an exact number of foes in your foe deck, and their renown values need to add up to within a certain amount. It's like 90 to 120 or something like that. I don't think either of these decks meet the official rules because they're starter decks, which is kind of weird. You'd think the starter decks would like meet the official rules, but it should be fine. I think I have 22 foes, and then I have 33, or maybe like 34, 33. You cycle your decks when you run out of cards. However, there is a chance that your opponent gets all of your foe cards, and if a victor hasn't been decided at that point, then you lose when you run out of foe cards, essentially. But that's probably a rare case when that happens. There's 3 possible ways to lose the game. Your Conan getting killed, running out of foe cards, and your opponent having 40 plus and more renown points than you at the start of his turn. So those are the 3 win conditions. The game kind of ramps up as it goes on, because the more foes that you kill and get in your renown space, the more foes that will be played against you. However, as you kill foes, you not only get renown, but you get scars. Conan gets a bunch of scars on him because he's doing all this battle. And when you have more scars, there's certain, mainly items, have scar requirements. So you can equip more and more powerful items as the game goes on. And I believe there's some other allies have scar requirements, and I think some actions might have scar requirements as well. Playing moves takes prowess, like I mentioned. And if you don't have enough prowess for a move, you can pay for it with health. when you're playing a move on a foe, if the damage would reduce his health to 0 from not having enough prowess, then um, you can't play that card, obviously. There's rules for if you don't have any valid moves to play on foes, where you get a chance to sort of go through your deck to find a valid move. And there's rules for how you deploy foes to the battlefield. There's 2 types of foes, major and minor. And you pay for the major foes by discarding the minor foes. And you look at the major foes' renown stat to determine how many minor foes you have to discard from the number that you drew to play the major foe. And the rule for that is every renown point exceeding 4. And there's a bunch of there's other rules about how you deploy the foes around the Conan. And there's rules for how Conan can fight the foes around him. There's rules for what happens if Conan, for example, you can only play 3 foes per quadrant of the areas around Conan at most. And you can't play foes that are of different types in the same area. Foes have all these different types. There's like animal, creature, supernatural, human, some other ones. So you can't play this more than one type in the same zone because they don't get along, and even some creatures are solitary, I think is the term. So I'm going to look that up real quick. I need to remind myself what the word unique means on a creature. URSTU. It's not in the. It's odd. It's not in here. So foes have these sort of like unit traits, I call them, because they can be on Conan, they can be on allies, they can be on foes, and those are things like keywords like mounted, for example, or solitary, or unique. Just want to see if he mentions unique anywhere in here. The foe phase. P5 foe fum. Items. Foes. I think unique just means you can only have one of them in the deck. It doesn't have anything to do with how you play it on the battlefield. I think the keyword savage means that you can't play other cards with that foe. A lot of them actually explain on the cards what they do. See if I have a savage foe in here. Yeah, the term savage must be alone in a zone. So it's a little confusing at first because there's also these red keyword terms that don't necessarily have a meaning in themselves, like serpent, for example. That's just like a more specific type of animal, which is already this foe's like subtype. I would say its primary type is major foe, and then its territory attribute where it's from is Pictland. So there's a lot of detail on like the card types, like lots of different variables that can go into a card. Yeah, Savage must be played alone. I think unique just means only one per deck, if I remember. I think I saw that somewhere. All right, I'll stop lollygagging, wasting your time. So he goes first, so he only draws 5 cards off the bat. Test my memory a little bit. And Conan the Bold draws 7 cards. Because he goes second. All right, so this is the start phase. The phases kind of, let's see if I can give you like an overview of the phases. You have start of turn, 4 turns, 4 primary turns. Start of turn, prepare step, warrior step, and rest step. There was plans apparently for a thief step along with the warrior step, which sounds cool. Fortunately, it never came about because the launch of this game was like a real shit show by the sound of it. Start of turn. This is where your renown is checked to see if you are the winner. Also, if anything references the beginning of your next turn, this is the step it refers to. Prepare step. The active player may play any number of item cards, allies, and action cards that have the prepare keyword. A player may only have one of each. Weapon, shield, body item. Any item card played will cause the other item card with the same to be discarded. So, okay. So now Conan the Bold could have an action that he wants to play during my prepare step. So, okay, he doesn't have any action cards, so that's not an option. I have some equipment. I have an equipment, but that requires 3 scars, so I can't play it. I have this prepare, lose 3 prowess, and draw 2 cards, or heal 3 health. I could lose some prowess. I have 20. And the first combat phase probably won't be that much. So maybe I'll do that just to kind of show you how things work. So I'll do that. I pay. That's a prepare action. I pay 3 prowess, which puts me at 17. And I'm going to draw 2 cards. So now I got 6 cards in my hand to go into combat with. I have 3 actions, or 3 pure move cards, 2 actions, and 1 item, which is a weapon. But again, the beauty of this is I can use any of these cards in combat when I need to, if I have the prowess cost, which is on each card as well. Basically, every card you'll have in your hand has a prowess cost unless it's an ally. And I don't even have any allies in this deck. There's 2 in this one, I think. All right, so that's going to be the end of my prepare step. So we're going to move on to the warrior step. At this point, you will choose which step to take for the turn. Warrior or thief. Thief will be available later expansion. The warrior step is broken down into the following phases. So this is the main loop of the game that is going to happen potentially multiple times in one turn. You know what? I need to get some clarification on the survey step. If I do survey and I retreat, you may not press on. Got it. Conan may not press on if he retreats. I was just wondering, like, because by the sounds of it, I could retreat without any penalty on the first round if I wanted to. And we would just go to the next Conan turn, I guess. But that wouldn't make any sense because you're trying to kill foes to rack up renown points. And it's the easiest time to do it is on the first turn usually. And you don't want your opponent to like gain an advantage and get ahead of you in the tempo. Okay, so we're on the warrior step. We're going to do faux draw first. Pretty bad glare there, huh? That's visible. Maybe like this. Anyway, it goes faux draw, survey, faux move, Conan move, barbarian, resolution. All right, so for faux draw, this is his hand. By default, you do 5 foes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now, if I have any action cards that say warrior, I can now use those because we're on the warrior phase. I do not. I do, however, have one action card that is faux warrior. And that's something you'll see on these cards, on your action cards. Mainly is the action cards always show what phase of the game you have to be in to play it. And basically there's 2 options for every phase, the Conan side or the faux side. So if it says rest, that means Conan can play it during the rest step. So you can use it while you're the active player, basically, while you're Conan. If it says faux rest, then you can only play it when you're the non-Conan, the faux player, during the rest step. So it's very clear when you can use actions, what phase of the game, and what side of the table you have to be on. So we're picking foes here. I should probably look at my hand a little bit. I'm not really gonna get too much into the strategery. I'm just gonna sort of let things play out, watch how things kind of resolve. But like I said, we've got 5 foes. There's minor, 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 and 2 majors. And this one's a real badass right here, a thing of fire and earth. He's a solitary foe. Only one of 2 I have in this deck, I think. And so what that means is he basically only ever faces Conan alone. You can't discard major foes to pay for other major foes. So you'll notice this major foe has a renown value of 8. And in order to pay for a major foe, you have to discard the difference between its renown value and 4 in terms of minor foes, which means I would have to discard 4 minor foes. Because this guy's a major foe, I can only discard 3, so I can't play him on the first turn, sadly, because that would have been sick. I don't think I have any anything else I can do allow me to play him. So I can, however, play the Man-Ape of the North by discarding 2. And he has like a bonus to unarmed moves. So I should probably look at my hand and go, oh, do I have any unarmed moves? Yes, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 unarmed. Well, actually, you have to check the type, not just the symbols. Yeah, those are all indeed unarmed moves. So it would be a fool not to play Man-Ape of the North. And to do that, I have to discard 2 cards. I think I'll discard both these guys, because this guy benefits from unarmed moves too. So I drew like a pretty good starting foe hand, a combination of cards in my hand and foes from the foe deck. That's what's cool about this game, is that you're matching up 2 cards to do any kind of battle between Conan and the foes. So between Conans, really. So these 2 Conans are fighting just indirectly. If you want to look at it that way. All right, so we've chosen the foes. The next step is survey. So now Conan will survey. He's not going to run away. It's the first move. And now we go to the foe move. Now what this means is I look at my hand, and I look at the prowess cost of everything. I look at the prowess attribute for these guys. And by the way, when you're laying out cards around Conan, they can go in one of 4 possible places. But you can't play to the left flank. You always have to play someone in the middle first. And you can't go to the rear flank unless there's one on either the left or the right flank. So you have to circle them, essentially. And Conan, by default, can only attack foes in 2 quadrants per Conan move phase. And each foe will play 1 move, just 1. And Conan can play 2 moves per foe move. But by default, in no more than two of the 4 quadrants per Conan move phase. Now, there's another rule that says every time you play a move card onto a foe's move card, and as Conan, and that move card doesn't border another foe's move card in that same zone, you lose 1 prowess for every move card it didn't border. So that's your incentive for playing multiple units in one spot. If you play multiple units in one spot, Conan can put his move cards in between their move cards, essentially, and hit 2 units at once, hit 2 foes at once by putting his cards in between. But Conan can also get hit by both those move cards. and take damage. And there's a trait that some foes have called Veteran. And what that means is Conan can't place a move card between them. So if there's two veterans in a sector, he's at least taken one prowess hit by default, the first card he plays in that zone. And it's going to be more difficult for him to kill those foes if they have the veteran keyword. So that's kind of a cool mechanic. So here was my idea for my own little special idea for making combat more interesting, kind of randomized. I'm going to look at my prowess plus health for every unit I have out here, and this is 6 and this is 7. And then I'm going to look at the prowess of all the cards. There's none that are more than 4. So now to make the game interesting for myself, I'm just going to randomize it. So I don't know what I'm up against. Might it be a terrible move by the foe player? Yes. But I don't really care about that. I just want to be surprised. All right. So typically, if you were to play a move that has more prowess than the foe card has here, you would have to put damage counters on the foe to make up the prowess difference. And then as the Conan player, you'd go, oh shit, he just played I know exactly how much prowess whatever card was he played. So that's valuable information if you're like trying to be competitive. But at any rate, it gives you an idea of like how strong the move is he's probably trying to play. But doing it this way, I don't know what the prowess. All I know is that I can afford it if it's over what they have. So I'm going to wait to flip it over to see. I just need to remember to put damage on them if it's more prowess than what they have by default. All right, so that was the foe move step. Now we go to the Conan move step. Now I will look at these cards and think about them a little bit. And now every time Conan plays a move, he has to pay the prowess from his prowess pool. Let's see what I'm looking at here. So we got enemy reinforced, filling meal, mace, and then we got these three moves. And you can see the move, some moves are Conan only. Like this one here is a rare card, drive cartilage into brain. And it's Conan only. So you can't play this as a foe. So I'll probably use this. +1 damage against a human foe. There are no human foes, but nonetheless. I'll probably play it against the jaguar. Or against the panther. So I play this next to the panther's move. That's how you keep track of what's happening. And then I'll pay the 5. So that puts me down to 12 prowess. Now I can play another card over here if I want. And I might. But first let's see what we can do with the against the ape man. I'll probably play 2 over here since he's a stronger foe. And I want stuff with at least 2 on one side, probably. This lets me draw a card. I guess right when I play it. Probably. Yeah, right when you play it face up, I think you'd draw a card. But that's a faux card. So let's do this. Let's do the double punch right there. So that'll cost 3, put me at 9. Where's the 9 on this thing? There we go. And so I pay the prowess. I actually put it right here next to the move card. Now there's no other cards that deal damage, but I guess if I do this, I can potentially block an attack coming that way. So that'll cost 2 more, which puts me at 7. And I guess it lets me draw a card right when I play it. So I'll pick this up. Carousing. Some nice art on that. That's one thing I really like about this game is, you know, they weren't afraid to put some beautiful women in the card game. So one thing I like about Conan in general. Anyway, so he's down to 7 prowess. I don't think I need to play anything else. I might like to play something else that attacks the Panther, but I don't have anything that lines up offensively. And I don't have any actions that I can play. So that's it. Okay, so now, before we resolve everything, we go to the barbarian phase. You may discard and draw a card. And he has the extra axe damage. So I should be trying to play axe cards, but I think I will discard a card. Search your foe deck for a minor foe. Play into the zone. I'm going to keep this one, I think. Might keep that one. Might keep that one. You know what? Let's discard. Yeah. Multi-icon melee moves. I don't even have any of those in this deck, I don't think. 2+2 damage. Remove this item from the game during the barbarian phase to increase or decrease any barbarian ability by 1. All right, I'm going to discard my other carousing and draw a card. My Conan reflexes, and that got me the Bosonian bow, which is totally useless in this deck because I don't have any sorcerers and very little ranged ability. Okay, flip the card over. All right, so now we match up the symbols. And the Panther took 1 damage. There's an effect on there, but it has no effect. Conan +1 damage to human. If this move defeats a foe, you may draw 2 cards. And it will actually do enough damage to kill him. Because the way these the icons resolve is certain things block other things. Agility blocks everything except ranged and magic. And shield blocks everything except grapple and magic. So magic is unblockable. Which is kind of cool. I don't have any sorcerer cards, so I can't use any magic moves. But anyway, this will kill the Panther. Do more than enough damage. He does not hit me at all. So this goes in my Chronicle area. This card goes back to his primary deck discard pile. This goes to my discard pile and it activates this effect. So I draw 2 cards. That's great. I got a warrior action and I got another move. Perfect. All right, so now I'm going to flip this over. Ooh, that's the worst one I could have chosen for the Man of the North, so that doesn't do anything. And this will do 4 damage to the foe of the North. Killing it. So great start for Conan the Adventurer. Didn't take any damage, and he killed both of those guys. So I've got a full hand. I've got 7 prowess. And I've got 4 scars in here. So if I were to press on, which is something he's good at because he can draw up to 2 cards when you press on. So I think I will press on with Conan. But before I do that, the opposing foe player will draw up to 7 cards. And he already has a lot of cards over there, but so I'm going to choose to press on. I've got 7 prowess, full health. I killed all the foes, so this player draws back up to 7. He's drawn both his allies, so that's bad luck. Let me just confirm real quick that you indeed so once all the dust clears, I did the barbarian phase, we resolved the moves. If the dust clears and only Conan remains, foe players refill their hands to 7. And Conan may choose to press on or go to his rest step. I chose to press on. I drew 2 cards. He refilled his hand. I've got I've got 6 cards in my hand. Actually, none of them are that good, but I do have reflexes. And didn't I have something in here like increase the oh, that was the bow or the mace discard. Yeah, it might not have been wise to press on, but I'll show you how pressing on works just to sort of demo the game. All right, so now I've got 4 scars over here, which means the foe player, we're going back to the foe draw phase. Start of the warrior phase, first phase. Now I draw 6 instead of 5 because I've got 4 scar points in my chronicle area. Added up these black values. And you divide that by 3, drop the remainder, and so basically for every 3 points of scars, you get an additional foe plus 5 plus whatever that number is. So we got 6. And I drew my other solitary badass motherfucker from the foe deck already, the giant serpent, and he's got 10 renown. So I would have to discard 6 minor foes. I don't even have 6 other cards, so that kind of sucks. I drew him that early, but I did draw another man ape of the north, and I drew some humans. Some cards, faux cards, have special effects that they can do, like on this particular phase. Like this guy, you can discard to basically destroy one of your opponent's items with 5 or less scars. So we've got 3 humans and 1 savage beast. So you know what? Let's discard both major guys. And we'll play 3 human foes together because they're the same type, same species, pretty much. And then we'll play the saber-toothed tiger over here. He's a savage animal. So, again, savage means he has to be played alone. You might want to consider what order they're in if you're thinking about what moves you're going to play. Because Conan is going to be playing moves in between their moves, most likely. All right, so before we move on from here, I just want to see if this Conan can do anything. When an ally takes damage, discard. Yeah, his hand is not very good for. He did not. I mean, we've got the reflexes, but it's not looking too good here for this Conan. I'm definitely going to discard this. All right. So we're still on the that was the faux draw phase. I believe we move on to the faux move phase after that. Or no, the survey phase. So this is where Conan can retreat if he wants. If Conan were to retreat, the rule for that is you've got to give up the chronicle points equal to their scar counts without going over. So that's an interesting sort of the way that works is if you were to retreat, lose renown equal to the total scars. So you would add up the scars. Say theoretically I retreated. I wanted to retreat. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 9 renown points in my chronicle area over here, divided at 3 and 6. So if you can't go over the amount, the only thing you could do would be take Panther back. He wouldn't be able to take this back because this is 6. And let's say he had another, instead of him, he had another Panther, so it was 3 and 3. You'd only be able to take one of the Panthers. So that's how that works. It's like kind of rounds down from your available options. But anyway, I'm not going to retreat. He's not going to retreat. Instead, I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. I got 2 allies in this hand, which is crazy. So 6, 6, 5, 6. All right, so everybody can play a move card. I'm going to shuffle them. This is, in my opinion, this is the most fun way to play against yourself. A game that nobody knows about, even exists, was almost completely destroyed. This, I swear, this game is like the Ben Kenobi of trading card games, or the Yoda of trading card games. It's any cards of this you find are like the last remnants of its kind. All right, so we'll randomly play move cards, And the move cards all have to face Conan in these different zones. I don't really have enough space on this table, but all right. That's that. We go over here. Now, Conan must defend himself from this onslaught. And it's not looking too good. I don't really have a lot of options here. Not very good ones, anyway. I can use the barbarian thing to discard and draw one, but and I only have 7 prowess, which sucks. But I'll show you how these mechanics work. I'll put Desperate Lunge. It has to face the card has to face your foe. Right there. That'll cost 2. Put me at 5. Now I go over here. And the first card I play probably be something like this. You know, and I forgot to mention that I forgot to even remember that there's another aspect to combat called initiative. And that determines whether or not hits even go through. I don't think it mattered well, it might have mattered. I might have taken damage, actually, if I had looked at the initiative. But essentially how it works is the higher the initiative, the quicker the attack. And if you kill a foe before he can hit you, you don't take the damage. If it's the same value, like if these other attacks were 2, for example, they resolve simultaneously. And that's how it works. And it's between 1 and 5. Let's see here. But I played this right here, and that was not next to that, so I lose 1 prowess. I go down to 4. But now I'm going to play this double attacking card, and I don't lose any prowess that time. And let's see, I can do 1 more card. I can attack another one of these, but I think I'll save these, to be honest. For the next round of combat. But I will save one of them. Play this one right here. I think. Yeah, why not? All right. And now during the barbarian phase, usually you'd wait to see that if your opponent was okay to go to the next phase. And then if he doesn't play anything, go to the barbarian phase. I'm going to activate the reflexes ability and discard and draw 1. Oh, geez. This Conan's having a tough time. It could be worse, I guess. But all right, so now we'll... and the way you decide which sector to reveal the cards in first is you start with the Conan player. He picks a sector, and then it goes to the foe player and back and forth. So at most you do 4, but it starts with Conan choosing. So Conan will choose to do this one here, just for simplicity. Okay, so that was 3 prowess. He doesn't have to pay anything. Conan takes 2 grapple hits from him for that's going to total to 3 damage because when you calculate hits, if you have more than 1 hit from any ability, any offensive icon, you have to choose. Well, first, actually, we need to look at the initiative because actually these hits won't go through because this is initiative 4 and this is initiative 3. And there's some text in these boxes here, but this only applies to Conan and this only applies to foes, Stygian foes. So that doesn't matter. So Conan is going to do 3 damage, which is his base damage, to kill the Sabretooth. Just for the sake of doing a demo, if you hit either a foe or Conan with more than 1 offensive symbol, you pick which one you want to do your base damage, and then every additional one that went through adds 1 damage by default. But that's not going to happen for the Sabretooth, fortunately for Conan the Adventurer. So that'll go over there. This will go over here. And this will go right here. Wait, did I pay? I didn't pay the prowess for these other moves, did I? I think I forgot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which will put me at -1, which means I would have took a damage. I started with 7, right? I started with 7. I played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I actually should be at -3. Yeah, I think I only had 7 prowess, right? Is that correct? Whatever. So he took 3 damage. Let's say he took 3 damage. All right, let's flip these over. Ooh, okay. They all flip over at the same time. First, I'll see if any prowess damage was done. So there was 1 damage done here. None, and 1 there. So that's kind of lucky for me, or him. So that's Conan ability. This is a foe ability. If this move hits Conan, you may heal up to 2 health. See, I'm a little hazy on whether or not this text box happens before or after this happens, because this is simultaneous. So do I get this heal? That's a good question. We're going to try to figure that out real quick. So this will be the foe move phase. Each foe must now play cards. Okay. Going to move phase. Resolution. Combat is resolved for each zone separately. The active player selects the first zone to resolve, followed by the foe player. This alternates until all zones have been resolved. Hits are determined by which icons are unblocked. You check the side of the card that has an opponent's move adjacent to it. The other side, if no opponent move is present, is ignored. If both sides of a foe move have an opponent's move adjacent to it, then both sides of the foe move will resolve, and the foe might be hit twice, 1 on either side. Okay, in this example, within each zone, initiative 5 moves are resolved first. Then the player controlling the attack chooses 1 unblocked offensive icon to deal damage. Check the base damage of the character using the move and add +1 damage for each other unblocked offensive icon. Damage dealt during the same initiative simultaneous. If damage is dealt to a character that is sufficient to defeat them and they have to move in play with a lower later initiative, that move a move in play with a lower later initiative, that move will not resolve. Conan. Gain 1 prowess for each icon that hits. So I'm just curious if, because this is what I was wondering before, like, this guy played Forceful Lunge, which says, foe, if this move hits Conan, you may heal up to 2 health. It does hit Conan. He's already got full health, though. However, this move is simultaneous and does 3 damage, which is enough to kill him. So, can he heal this before he dies from this? I mean, how does that work? Maybe there's something in the like special rules about it. There's a other rules of note section. Okay, if there's ever a tie between Conan and his opponent, Conan breaks the tie. This includes effects that resolve simultaneously and try to do opposing things. If there's ever a conflict between effects, Conan gets to choose which one happens. Note that this does not supersede initiative value. If there's a tie in initiative, the moves are still considered to be simultaneous. Damage may only be modified if damage is actually dealt. If something else deals +1 damage, it can modify an attack that deals 0 damage, but it cannot modify an attack that does not successfully hit. Is there an example of Forceful Lunge being used somewhere? Man-Ape of the North. Ian now gets to choose a zone to resolve. Forceful Lunge. Since the move is completely unblocked, Ian gets to choose which side affects Conan, and he chooses the side with the 2 grapple icons. Interesting. Okay, so... Actually, I need some clarification on that. When you have cards played in between other move cards like this, it's sounding like... Let me look at the resolution phase. You check the side of the... Okay, combat is resolved for each zone separately. The active player selects the first zone to resolve, followed by the foe player. This alternates until all zones have been resolved. Hits are determined by which icons are unblocked. You check the side of the card that has an opponent's move adjacent to it. The other side, if no opponent move is present, is ignored. If both sides of a foe move have an opponent's move adjacent to it, then both sides of the foe move will resolve. and the foe might be hit twice, once on either side. That's what I thought. Conan does not play a move adjacent to at least one side of a foe move. That move is unblocked and will deal damage normally. The foe player must choose a side of his move card to deal damage. In this case, the foe player may choose to have it damage an ally. Okay, that's what I was getting confused about. So if I were to not play a move here, for example, this is totally unblocked, and the foe player would get to choose which side did damage, essentially. All right, I'm going to say that because this is kind of like a simultaneous effect, this foe does not heal and just gets killed. Because so we actually want to go in order, I think, of the highest initiative. So this here is the highest initiative, 3. And this is 3 as well, so they resolve simultaneously. This here does 3 damage here, killing this guy. All right. Now, at the same time, this over here does 3 damage. This gets blocked, but it does 2 damage to Conan from this attack here. He's got power 2, so 1, 2. Can remove that. Well, actually, I don't want to stay there. Now we go down to the number 2 initiative cards. Resolve simultaneously, so he hits twice here for 1, 2. So that's another 2 damage on Conan. This hits him for 3. Dead. In the area over there. You can take this back. Okay, now we can come to here. Did I already take 1 damage from this? I might have. Can't remember. I think I did. And, oh wait. This hits here. Does 3. Kills this. All right, so I think I did that correctly. My brain's kind of going. I've been up for a while. All right, so painful phase for this Conan. He took 6 damage, or 7 damage. So his life total is at 13 right now. But he killed a lot of foes, which is good. So into that phase, no foes left on the battlefield. He's technically still here for now. This guy draws back up to, that's the foe deck. I always do that. 7. You can look at his actions to see if there's anything he wants to play. That's a warrior 1. This is a warrior 1. Play during the survey phase. Foe prepare. Action prepare. Okay. Nothing really to play. And then Conan Can now choose to press on or rest. He's definitely going to rest. So he'll fall back. Proceed to the rest step. Now, one rule that we didn't really see here is what you do on round 2 of combat. If you didn't kill all the foes in the first engagement, each side draws the same number of cards that there are left foes plus allies on the battlefield. So you're both refilling your hand by the same amount if combat continues after the first round of the warrior phase, or the first round of the first round of the warrior phase, warrior step. Foe draw, survey, foe move, Conan move, barbarian, resolution. If after resolution the foes aren't all dead, you go back to foe draw. You draw. I think this technically the step where you draw back up is resolution. After all the zones have been resolved and any foes remain, all players draw cards equal to the number of remaining foes and allies, and return to the survey phase for the start of the next round of combat. If the dust clears and only Conan remains, foe players refill their hands to 7 cards, and Conan may choose to press on or rest. If he chooses to press on, he returns to his prepare step. If he chooses to rest, he enters the rest step. Conan cannot press on if he has 0 prowess or 0 cards in his hand. So that's kind of how the resources interplay. So this Conan did pretty good for his first turn. I think he's got 10, 13, 19, 22, renown points, and only 6 points of damage. But he's going to heal some of this, and I'll show you how. So we're going to go to the rest step, and I'll read the rest step again. Rest step. These events take place in the following order. Players may play action cards with the rest or foe rest keywords. Actions may not be played for the remainder of the rest step. After that, discard any allies you have in play. After that, return Conan to your side of the table from the center. So he's still right there. After that, Conan's prowess returns to its starting value. After that, Conan may spend prowess up to his vitality number to heal that amount. That's right there. He only has 2. Conan the Bold has 3. Conan the Savage actually has 4 vitality, which is a very powerful attribute to have by the sounds of it. After you heal any vitality, if you want, for prowess, the active player draws up to 7 cards, or discards down to 7 if he has more than 7. The turn is now over. Play passes to the left, or the opponent in a 2-player game. In the 2-player game. Yeah, this game's designed to be played up to 5 players. That's one of the things that I think is awesome about it, because people love multiplayer card games more than just 2. I mean, just look at Magic Commander. So, I don't think he has any faux rest cards, but I'll double check. He has faux prepare, but no faux rest. So, look at my hand here. I don't have any rest cards. So what I'm going to do is return Conan over here, set my prowess back to 20, but I'm immediately going to reduce it by 2 which we'll say puts me at, this would have been 8, so it puts me at 6. So he's got 18 prowess starting on his next turn because he's healing 2. So now he's only taken 14 damage. He's going to go back over here, and he's going to draw up to 7. So I draw 5 cards, and these are the cards that I'm going to be using on my foe turn, essentially, for combat, and it's not looking good. Too much equipment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So that was the first turn. That was turn 1. Conan the Bold. It's now Conan the Bold's turn to play. Does he have any prepare cards? He does. But this one requires, this is established reputation. It requires 5 scars to play, so he can't play it. However, he does have a passive trait, Conan the Bold, that's kind of cool, where when playing weapon cards, you count as having +4 scars. So I don't have any weapon cards here, sadly, so I can't use that. So there's really nothing he can do during his prepare step. Which means, and even as he would play these allies too, if he had any scars. They have a scar requirement. So his hand kind of sucks for his first. I mean, I've got these action cards. This is a foe prepare. And then I can't even use his other passive here where it says once per turn or once per game, you can play a foe card from your draw deck because both my foe cards are in my hand. Although actually, I probably wouldn't be able to play it if I didn't meet the scars requirement. Yeah, probably not. It says you may play a foe card from your deck, but I don't think that means you can play it if you don't have enough scars. Still requires a certain scar count. All right, so nothing is happening there, which means we go straight to the foe draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, this Conan decides what he wants to throw at the other Conan. By the way, where is the other Conan? It's in the hand here. What did I do with him? Put him down somewhere. Oh, there he is. All right. So, what am I doing? We've got 1 major foe and 4 minor foes. Savage. So I'm probably going to play the major foe. Does plus unarmed moves, or plus damage with his unarmed moves. I have to discard unarmed, that's good. Unarmed. Not unarmed. He doesn't have any foe actions. Discard 3, and you have to read the text on your minor foes because there's some minor foes that can only be discarded for certain types of major foes. That's not really the case here, I don't think. I'm just gonna look at their values, like just 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, 1, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3. But you also want to consider how many scars and renown you're giving Conan. I would think early game, you don't mind giving Conan renown and doing damage to him. Whereas late game, you want to be a little more careful about that. Or maybe you're thinking about how scars add up, and you want them to add up to like an even six number, or a divisible by 3 number probably. So I think I'll discard these two ranged guys. These guys specialize with ranged moves, and I don't have any, so I'll discard both of them. Their scars add up to 6 with the mammoth. Oh wait, I have to discard 3 for him, so it doesn't even matter. Yeah, I'll keep this Sumerian 2, 4, 3, 4 versus 2, 2, 3, 3. All right, so I paid for the mammoth. Put him on the flank. He's a savage, so he can't have any other cards there. All right, so this Conan still has 20 prowess. He's ready to rock. But he goes to a survey phase. He's not going to retreat because he's not a pussy. Even though his hand sucks. And now I'm going to do my special, my fun little randomized thing. 4, 2, 3, 3, 1, 3, 3. These are all playable without hurting any of the foes that badly. So I'm just gonna randomly pick a move to play. Valid move to play. They both have. He has really high prowess for a minor card. I guess that's why he's worth 4. So any card with a renown value 4 or less is going to be minor. Any card with a renown value 5 or greater is going to be major. So he's on the higher end of the minor side in terms of strength and value to the other Conan. Okay, so that was the foe move phase. We move on to the Conan move phase. Or actually the barbarian phase. No, that comes after the Conan move phase. This is the Conan move phase. So now he can play 2 moves per area. And here's what he's working with. That costs 5. Play when foes are drawn. Lose 2 prowess. Discard a renown 1 or 2 foe. So I could have played this during the foe draw phase. I missed that. And that would have been good to get rid of him, for example, but it's okay. Missed it. Play during the survey phase. Lose 1 prowess. Move all foes from one zone into another. This ignores all zone limits. So that would have been another action that this Conan could have used before these moves were played. Again, not a big deal. This action is foe prepare, so it can't be used by Conan. So we're just going to play some attacks. This one's good because it's a move. It's just a straight up move card. There's no action functionality. And it has a Conan effect on it. That's a Conan only effect. So if the foe player was to use this move, he wouldn't gain from that effect. But since I'm Conan, I will use this move, and I will use it against the mammoth. That costs me 3 prowess, putting me at 17 prowess. And yeah, Conan receives 1 less damage, so that's probably good to use against the mammoth. Although they do the same damage, but he has this upgraded unarmed effect. All right, so the rest of my cards are valid move cards, are actions. So this one costs 3, this one costs 5, this one costs 3, this one costs 3. I think I'll use this one because it's got 2 fists on it. Right there. So we're actually supposed to be like more toward the center here. He's in the middle. And he's on the side. Scenario here. It kind of looks like that. And I could play another card. Did I reduce the prowess? That was 3 prowess. So that puts me at 14. And I'll just leave it like that for now. All right, let's go to the barbarian phase. Reflex is 1, so discard, draw a card, and I think I will get rid of an ally. Actually, yeah, sure, why not? We'll get rid of this mounted ally and draw a card. Warrior born. Action, warrior. Play during the survey phase. Discard a card. Your moves cost -1 prowess, and you suffer no prowess penalties for playing moves into a zone with multiple foes. And you don't have to pay anything to use action cards. They just have to be used. I mean, most of the time, there might be some sort of payment mechanic in the text of the card, but it's not like the prowess cost that you pay when you do a move. All right, so moving on from the barbarian phase, we're going to the foe reveal phase. Is that what it's called? Foe move phase, or resolution. So we'll say that Conan starts with the mammoth. See what happens. Ooh. Luckily, I didn't play a card over here. This is a Conan effect, so it has no effect. He blocks one of the melee attacks, but he still does base damage, which is 3. So the woolly mammoth has taken 3 out of 6 damage. And they resolve at the same time. 3 initiative, 3 initiative. All right, that was easy. Now we'll do this one. 3 prowess, he doesn't take any damage. Okay, so this is an interesting interaction here. Grapple blocks grapple, according to the rule sheet. Blocks other grapples, but we both still get a grapple through. So he's going to deal, but this has a, oh, that has a Conan effect. This has no, okay, so this has no effect. So he's going to deal 2 damage right here. That one resolves first because it's 3 initiative. Now this resolves, and Conan will deal 3 damage over here. So both. Oh, well, actually, that's going to kill him. He has 4 health. Boom. Okay. So this goes over here. And this goes over here. And now the mammoth remains. Which means I go back to the survey phase. If I wanted to, I could retreat. If I did, there would be no consequence because this guy here is worth 4 renown. And if I were to retreat, the opponent would have 3 scars on the mammoth. And so he would be entitled to up to 3 points of renown from my renown from my chronicle area. So he wouldn't be able to take this guy because he's got 4. However, I already did 3 damage to the mammoth, and he's worth 7 renown. So I might as well keep fighting him. I got plenty of cards. And I believe technically in the survey phase, before the survey phase is when you draw cards, right? Resolution phase. Yeah. So before the survey phase, we both redraw to for the number of foes and allies remaining on the board. We both drew a move card, I think. All right, so now we go back to the foe move phase because Conan did the survey. He's not going to retreat. All right, so I'll do my little fun thing. He's got 4 prowess. He gets to play. He can play any of these cards. But you know what? I'll make it a little more difficult on myself by getting rid of some of the weaker ones. Do one of these 3. Could be anyone. All right. Now Conan may play 1 card on either side of him. This one's called Lightning Slash. Boom. Yeah, I think the whole lightning, this lunge thing with the heal effect after forceful lunge foe, if this move hits Conan, you may heal up to 2 health. That if statement doesn't come until he's already reached 0 health. So if you ask me, this doesn't resolve if the foe is dead at that point. Okay, so that was 2, putting me at 12. I think I want to play another attack if I can on the right side, but I can't. I don't have any, but I do get to draw a card for playing that, which will be drawn from over here, not over there. That's where the Magic the Gathering decks are. Well, this is a nice card. Ringing Block. Actually, you know what? I already drew the card. So this is going to be 3 damage to the woolly mammoth at most, and it's got to hit that spot. This I can use to reduce damage. Play on one of your moves to reduce the damage you take through it by 1 for each shield icon on that move. I have 1. So, all right. So we'll go to the resolution. Great. The move hits. I don't take any damage. Woolly Mammoth is dead. Ooh, and this was a good card for him because this is foe savage plus 2 damage. And he is a savage foe. Luckily, I didn't play anything over here. Alright. So that does my base damage, which is 3 to him. That puts him at 6, which is enough to kill it. I will take that. Lucky Strike by Conan the Bold. He's got 5 scars here. And you know what? Since he pressed on, I think Conan the Bold's going to press on too. Maybe. I didn't use barbarian reflexes that time. Or you know what? Let's just say Conan the Bold passes the turn to Conan the Adventurer. But not before he refills his hand to 7 cards from this deck. And heals for 2 prowess, which will put him at 18. Come back over here. This Conan over here goes to the middle. Well, after his prepare step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He should have drawn up to 7 at the end of that combat. All right, so it's his turn now. He's got some items and some weapons. He's got plenty of scars for all of them, I'm pretty sure. So I think I'll play Morning Star, Sumerian Shield, and the Wineskin. So he's looking good to get like a whole lot of renown this turn. But you know what? I think I'm going to call it right there for now. I'll come back to this later. Pretty cool game. Definitely ambitious design from a card game perspective. But you know, by adding more elements to the game in terms of like phases and types of combat interactions and areas around Conan and stuff, by giving cards more options or just more just a greater diversity of types of cards in terms of when they can be used throughout a turn, or either on this turn or that turn. It feels like a bigger game than Magic the Gathering, where you're just kind of like, bam, 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 bam. Oh, my aggro deck won. That's it. It's like a more full experience, and I like that. And I like the fact that it's still a trading card game and not a what do they call them? Living card games, like a pre-made deck board game, pretty much. It's just too bad nobody even knows this game exists. It's like a total hidden gem. It really should get rebooted either in digital form or in paper. But anyway, words don't count for much. Only action.